My name's Tom Beavers. I'm 46, and I've been driving rigs since I was 21. I haul freight mostly out of Ohio, through the Midwest, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa. Long, flat stretches of country that most people only ever see through their windows on a plane. This happened outside of Gary, Indiana. February, real nasty weather. Ice on the roads, light snow blowing sideways, the kind that doesn't stick, but just keeps falling like static. I was running a solo haul to Des Moines, delivering electronics for some new warehouse. Around 3:30 in the morning, I hit a detour off I-80. GPS said it was a construction reroute. Nothing major, just local county roads. I didn't love it, but that time of night, you take what you're given. I followed Route 127, cutting through backwoods and open farmland. No lights, no towns, no signals. I was creeping slow, 25, maybe 30 miles per hour. The road was narrow, no shoulder, just frozen ditches on both sides. I had classic rock barely humming in the background, window cracked to keep me alert. And then I saw him. He was standing on the right side of the road, just outside my high beams. A man, wearing a reflective safety jacket. The orange kind with silver tape you see on highway crews or tow drivers. Just standing there, one arm raised in that universal signal, "Help me." I slowed down immediately, not because I planned to stop. I never do that at night, but because the sight of him felt off. Something about the way he stood, still, too still. As I passed, I flicked my brights on for a second. His face wasn't clear. It wasn't hidden or turned away. It just didn't exist. From the neck up, he had a head, sure, but no features, like a blank space. No eyes, no mouth, just skin. Smooth like wax, like something unfinished. But the jacket, it glowed like a signal flare in my headlights. My stomach dropped. I sped up, didn't look back. 5 minutes later, still on the same road, I saw him again. Same guy, same jacket, same arm raised, standing in the same way, but now on the left side of the road. I swear to God, I hadn't turned, hadn't looped back. This was a straight road, flat as hell, nothing around but dead fields and the tree line in the distance. This time I didn't even slow down. I stared dead ahead, white-knuckled the steering wheel. I told myself it was a coincidence, a hallucination from too many hours without sleep. Maybe a scarecrow or a blown-over sign caught in the wind. But deep down I knew that wasn't true. 15 more miles, still dark, still snowing, and then I saw him a third time. This time, he was standing in the center of the road, not at the edge. Right in my lane, I swerved left hard, tires skidding slightly. My trailer shook but didn't jackknife. I didn't stop. I didn't care. I just kept driving until my exit popped up. Nearly missed it. Pulled into a gas station, shaking so bad I couldn't get the pump nozzle in straight. The kid working the counter saw me and said, "Man, you look like hell." I just nodded. Didn't tell him anything. I bought a black coffee and parked at the edge of the lot facing the road. And I swear to you, I saw a flicker of silver tape in the trees across the road, just for a second. Then it was gone. I checked the weather report. No crews were out that night. Roads were shut down all through Lake County. I asked around the next day on the CB, real casual, like, anyone ever seen weird stuff out by 127? Dead silence. Then this old-timer named Curtis crackled in. Said, "You saw him too, huh? With the jacket?" "Yeah, don't stop for that one." That's all he said. I've taken that right twice since. Daytime only. Never seen him again. But now, every time I see a reflective jacket, even in daylight, I feel that cold climb up my spine. Like I'm waiting to see nothing staring back at me. And if I ever see him again, I'm not stopping. My name's Travis Harrell. I'm from Billings, Montana, and I've been running long hauls since I was 20. I'm 42 now, and I've driven every kind of freight you can imagine. Produce, dry goods, cars, even livestock a few times. I'm not big on stories. I keep to myself, don't drink much, never did drugs. Not a ghost guy. But this thing that happened to me 3 years ago, I can't explain it. And I don't really want to. It was a September run. I had a load coming out of Yakima, Washington, heading down to Roswell, New Mexico. Real long route. I was already 3 days in when I hit New Mexico, planning to cut through Highway 285. Anyone who's driven through that stretch knows it's straight, hot, and empty as hell. There's this brutal silence once you pass Vaughn, like you're driving on the surface of the moon. Around 11 p.m., I started getting real low on diesel. I don't usually let it drop that far, but the last station I planned on hitting was closed. No lights, no sign of life, just a handwritten note taped to the door that said, "Back in 15." I waited 30. Nobody came. The needle was kissing E, and I didn't want to stall out in the middle of nowhere. So I turned south, hoping I'd hit one of those 24-hour pumps. There's this little turnoff marked Dawson Spur. Barely a town, maybe a couple trailers and an old grain silo. But about 10 miles in, like a gift from above, I saw it. A gas station. Out of nowhere, lit up like a damn Christmas tree. Fluorescent lights, buzzing. Red and blue neon signs in the window that said "Open" and "Diesel." It was old school, a dusty chevron with a crooked awning, one of those cracked Pepsi vending machines outside, and a rusting icebox next to the door. But it was open, or so it looked. There was one car parked beside the building, a faded blue Buick, maybe 85 or 86. No license plates. I figured it belonged to whoever worked there. I pulled up to the pump. It didn't have a card reader, so I went to pay inside. The bell over the door jingled when I walked in, and I swear the air inside was colder than outside by at least 20 degrees. Behind the counter was this woman, mid-60s maybe, wearing a yellow smock and thick glasses. She didn't say a word when I came in, just looked up like she was waiting. Her name tag said Dot. I said, "Hey, pump 250 bucks on diesel." She didn't smile, just nodded once. Said, "Pay after, fuel first." Her voice was. I don't know. Flat, like a phone recording. I asked if she had a restroom. She pointed to the back. I went to the bathroom, did my thing, came out, and passed this rack of postcards and souvenirs. Jackalopes, desert sunsets, the usual roadside junk. But the postcards, they were wrong. They were sun-bleached, old, and the names on them weren't familiar. Places like Granger's Hollow and Burnt Mesa and Route Zero. I've been through New Mexico a dozen times. I've never seen those places. I shrugged it off. I was tired. Maybe I was just zoning out. I went outside and pumped the diesel. The pump worked fine, no issues. But when I got back inside to pay, that woman, Dot, was gone. So was the Buick. I called out, "Hello? I just need to pay." No answer. I stood at the counter a good minute before I started to get this feeling, like someone was watching me from behind one of the shelves. I peeked down the aisles. Nothing. Just empty shelves, dusty magazines, a rack of expired candy bars. I was about to leave a $50 bill on the counter when I heard the door slam behind me. Except it didn't open. It slammed shut. I turned around fast, heart pounding. The store was still empty, dead silent. Even the buzzing lights were gone. It was like the power cut out for a second. And then I noticed the smell. You ever been in a place that smells wrong? Not bad, just wrong? like something pretending to be normal. That's what this was. It smelled like burned plastic and wet dirt, but just faintly, like it was underneath whatever air freshener they were using. I didn't wait. I dropped the $50 on the counter and walked, quick but calm, to the exit. The door wouldn't open. No lock, no jam, just wouldn't budge. I pulled again, harder, started to sweat. The lights flickered once, just once, and when they came back on, I saw something that nearly made my knees give out. There was someone behind the counter. Not Dot, not anyone. It was a shape, blurry, like it didn't belong there. Too tall for the counter, too narrow at the shoulders. No face, no clothes. Just a human outline, like heat waves rising off asphalt. It was looking at me. I felt it looking, though it had no eyes. I swear I saw it breathe. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just whispered, "Please open the door." The thing tilted its head, and right then the lights popped off again. Full darkness. When they came back on, seconds later, the door was wide open. The counter was empty. I didn't think. I ran outside, climbed into my cab, locked the doors, and floored it. Didn't even check the pump or the change. I just got the hell out of there. About a mile up the road, I pulled over, trying to catch my breath. I looked back. No lights, no station, just black highway and sagebrush. I turned the rig around. Nothing. Not even the dirt lot where I swore I parked. Like it had never been there at all. I got to Roswell late the next morning. Slept at a Love's with 20 other rigs. Didn't talk to anyone. Didn't say a word about what happened. I told myself maybe I dreamed it. That maybe exhaustion and stress had broken something loose. But 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail. No return address. Inside was a Chevron receipt, time-stamped at 11:42 p.m. Same night, same fuel amount. It had the station listed as Dot Stop, Dawson Spur, New Mexico. That place doesn't exist. I've searched every map, every GPS, asked other drivers. Nobody's heard of it. No one's seen it. But I paid for something, and I'm not going back. My name is Daniel Danny Cross. I haul meat refrigeration freight out of Amarillo, Texas. I'm 39 now, and I've been driving for 18 years, since before I could legally buy a beer. People always say it's a lonely job, and it is, but sometimes that's a good thing. You can go a long time without hearing anybody's voice but your own, but sometimes you wish you weren't alone. This happened on a route I took often, from Tulsa to Lubbock. It's mostly straight road, passing through small towns and long, empty stretches. I had left Tulsa around 7 p.m., planning to do a long night run and hit Lubbock by morning. Weather was fine. Windy but clear. The truck was behaving and the load was light. Around 2:45 a.m., I was somewhere between Childress and Paducah, Texas. It's flat land out there. Nothing but highway, barbed wire fences, and oil pumps that look like giant mechanical birds pecking at the dirt. Then my GPS lit up red. Bridge detour ahead, a construction closure. It rerouted me through a frontage road that ran parallel to the main highway, down through this old industrial patch, past an abandoned grain elevator and an old overpass that I didn't even know was still in use. As I approached the overpass, I saw someone standing just beyond the concrete barrier. It was a woman. She looked mid-30s, maybe 40. She had long, dark hair, wet and stringy like she'd been caught in the rain. Though the sky was clear, she wore a gray hoodie, jeans, and no shoes. Her arms were wrapped around herself like she was freezing. She didn't wave, didn't speak, just stood there, staring at the ground. Now, I don't stop for hitchhikers, ever. but something about her, something gnawed at me. Maybe it was the bare feet, or how small she looked, standing in the glow of my headlights. I rolled the window down halfway and slowed to a crawl. "You all right?" I called out. She didn't move, didn't look up. I inched the truck forward another few feet. "You need help?" She finally raised her head, and I saw her face. Or, I saw what should have been her face. Her skin was there, her hair, but the features were all in the wrong places. Her mouth was too high, near her nose. Her nose was stretched sideways, like it had been melted and pushed by hand. Her eyes were mismatched. One was too small, and the other was wide and gray, like a marble. But the worst part, she smiled. Not friendly, not scared, knowing, like she was waiting for me. I floored it. Didn't care if I missed a turn or took out a sign. I got back on the highway at the first chance I got and didn't stop until I hit a truck stop outside of Vernon. I sat in the cab, heart pounding, hands trembling. I tried to write it off. Maybe she was injured, deformed, in shock, something rational, something human. But then it happened again. 2 nights later, I took a new job, emergency meat load from Austin to Denver. Had to get up I-25 fast. I took a shortcut through a different frontage road just west of Raton Pass. Isolated, rocky, not a soul for miles. And there she was, standing under another overpass. Same woman, same hoodie, same bare feet, same wrong face. She was facing away from me this time, but as my truck passed, she turned slow, like her neck was on a hinge, and locked that mismatched gaze on me. I didn't sleep that night. Not in the cab, not in the lounge. I stayed awake until dawn, watching the parking lot and waiting for her to show up again. She never did that time. Over the next month, I saw her 4 more times. Always under an overpass, always at night, always watching, never in the same place. I stopped taking night jobs. I changed my routes. I told my dispatcher I was dealing with fatigue, which wasn't a lie. I was exhausted, not from the work, from trying to outrun her. Then something changed. I was hauling chicken to a distribution center in Topeka, Kansas. I had followed all my new rules. Daylight only, major highways, no back roads. But I hit a pileup on I-335 that shut the whole damn road down. The cop diverted us all through local routes, rural Kansas roads, not a gas station for 20 miles. And wouldn't you know it, another overpass. As soon as I saw it, I felt it, cold down my arms, stomach tight like a pulled muscle. I didn't want to look. I didn't want to know if she was there, but I did, and this time, she was standing in the middle of the road. No longer off to the side, no longer waiting. This time, she was in my path. I slammed the brakes. The trailer groaned, tires smoked. I came to a screeching halt, barely 20 feet from her, and she walked straight toward my cab. I fumbled for the lock, even though it was already down. I don't know what I thought she'd do. Climb the hood, knock on the glass, but she didn't do either. She just stood beside the truck, staring in. That eye, the big gray one, reflected the dashboard lights like a lens. And then she spoke. 3 words. I couldn't hear them. The windows were shut. But I could see her lips, twisted, misaligned, moving. I don't read lips, but I understood. She said, "Let me in." I screamed. For the first time in years, I screamed like a child. I hit reverse, swung the trailer, nearly slid off the shoulder. I didn't care. I just needed to get away. I don't remember getting to Topeka. I don't remember the rest of the drive. But when I got there, I told the receiving doc I was done. I left the keys with dispatch, called a bus, and rode it back to Amarillo. I sold the truck 2 weeks later. People ask me why. Why I gave up a good gig, a steady route. Why I drink more than I used to. Why I flinch when we pass under bridges. I don't answer. But I've never driven again at night, and I never stop near an overpass. My name is Greg Halpern. I'm 58. Been driving long haul since '88. I've seen my share of weird stuff, mostly folks on something or off something. Animals darting across highways, all the usual. Never believed in ghosts. Still don't. Not exactly. But there's something about deep woods that feels older. Like whatever's out there doesn't care if you believe in it or not. This happened in northern Georgia, just outside a town called Dahlonega, along a forestry service route off US 19. I'd taken a side job hauling construction equipment to a remote site, a new campground being built deep in the Chattahoochee National Forest. It wasn't my usual gig, but it paid good, and I figured a weekend job would cover my mortgage for the month. It was supposed to be a one-night haul. Get in, unload, sleep in the cab, drive back in the morning. Simple. I got to the site around 9 p.m. Nobody there, just flagged stakes in the dirt and a shipping container full of tools. The foreman left me a note on the gate. Drop trailer pick up in the morning, so I unhitched, parked the cab just inside the tree line, and got ready to settle in for the night. It was quiet. Too quiet. I've parked in plenty of remote spots before, but this was different. No wind, no bugs, not even crickets. Just the creak of the trailer settling and the occasional tick from the engine cooling off. I microwaved a burrito, cracked the window, and laid back in the sleeper. I remember thinking, damn, peaceful out here. That peace didn't last. Around 1:30 a.m., I woke up. No reason, just wide awake, like my body knew something I didn't. I sat up, listening. Still no wind. Still no crickets, but I heard something. Footsteps, light ones, on gravel. Not boots, not paws, bare feet. I peeked through the curtain. Nothing but trees and darkness. I waited, listening. Crunch, 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 circling the cab. Slow, deliberate, like some encasing a house. I reached for my flashlight and unzipped the front curtain just enough to look through the windshield. That's when I saw it. Standing just past the tree line, maybe 30 feet away, was a figure. Human-sized, but not right. It was thin, too thin. Naked maybe, but I couldn't be sure. Its skin looked gray, almost reflective like wet stone, and its arms were too long. They dangled past the knees. But the worst part was its head. There were no eyes, just a flat space where the eyes should be, like skin had been stretched over a skull and never finished. It didn't move. Just stood there, watching me somehow through the windshield. I closed the curtain. I didn't breathe. I didn't move. I waited for the footsteps again, but they were gone. Just silence. I stayed awake till dawn. Didn't dare get out. Around 6 a.m., I peeked outside. Nothing there. I got out, took the world's fastest leak behind a tree, and hooked back up to the trailer. I drove straight down the mountain without looking back. But the story doesn't end there. The next week I was in a diner just outside Macon, eating a chicken fried steak, when I struck up a conversation with an older driver named Cliff. Told him I'd been up near Dahlonega. His face went pale. He said, "You didn't sleep up there, did you?" I said I had. He looked me dead in the eye and said, "Those woods, they ain't empty. People say the Cherokee wouldn't even settle that deep. They called it a place where the watchers walk. Things that mimic the shape of men, but were never human. If you hear them circle, you don't move. If you see them watching, You don't look twice.
I didn't sleep for 3 nights after that. But here's what haunts me.
A few weeks ago, I was fueling up at a truck stop in Kentucky, middle of the day, bright sun, country music on the speakers, and I saw someone walk past my truck. Not a driver, not a mechanic.
Someone too tall, with arms that hung too far. They didn't stop, didn't look at me, but I saw their face. Or rather, I saw where a face should have been. And I swear I heard it whisper as it passed. We remember you. If you've ever seen something strange on the road,
Tell us in the comments. Maybe your story is next.